Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. It's so nice to see everyone here. It's such an honor for us. And I was in Chicago 6 years ago. We did an event which Javed Rana had organized. Thank you, Javed. And again tonight, he's done a great job in having you all come, so we have to give him credit. And I have to thank Abdul Rahman and Rana Hamid and Rashid for organizing this, and Dr. Sabir, sorry. So many new people I'm meeting, and I have to remember everyone's names. But I'm very, very grateful for your time and attention, and I'm going to share with you tonight the story behind Deaf Reach and how we came to Pakistan. Everybody always wants to know, what's this Gora guy doing in Pakistan? So I'm going to tell you. But when we think about the population of Pakistan, you know, Pakistan is now the 5th largest country in the world, population-wise. Did you know that? You should be proud of that, actually. And yeah, it's great. And I thought, I mean, maybe you all know this, but I thought I'd just share it with you because you've got over 200 million people. Karachi alone has over 20 million people. That's huge. And it just goes like this. Whoosh. And the electricity doesn't work and the water doesn't work. Dil dil Pakistan, right? But when we talk about children who are deaf, it's very challenging. You know, every country has a subpopulation of adults and children who are deaf. They're either born deaf or they acquire deafness through illness. Yet in places like America or UK or Europe, the deaf are well provided for. There's educational programs. They have professional career pathways they can follow. But in Pakistan, there really is nothing. There are hardly any schools for deaf children. There's hardly any opportunities for deaf children. And when we talk about the numbers, here's a number that's pretty amazing. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. There's over 1 million deaf children in Pakistan, yet hardly 5% have access to education. That's a huge gap. And these children, the majority of them come from very poor, low-income families. The schools that do exist are in the main urban areas: Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore, Faisalabad, Multan. But 75% of Pakistanis live in rural areas. And what access do those children have? They don't. And sadly, they're often very neglected. Deaf children are left out of their family circle because there's no communication. A hearing child, you all have children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews. By the time a mainstream child is 4 or 5 years old, he's been exposed to tens of thousands of words. But for a deaf child who's never had an opportunity to be around his peers, his whole vocabulary perhaps consists of 50 homemade signs. Eat, sleep, drink, bathroom. So when these children are given the opportunity to come to school and be amongst their peers and have teachers to teach them in their language, which is sign language, the world opens up. It's like pouring water on a dry bulb. And you know, one young girl said to me, she said, coming here to Deaf Reach has been the end of my loneliness. And I thought that really touched my heart because she found a new world, new opportunities. So how did we get involved in doing this? Well, Heidi and I are parents of a deaf child. We came to Pakistan in 1989. So we've been living there now for 32 years. Wow, that's a big... So we're imported quality. And we've made Pakistan our home. It wasn't intentional, I'll be honest with you. Heidi and I had started a small project in the Philippines. Heidi's from the Philippines. And then we were young, we were traveling, we visited the subcontinent, we were in India for some time. And a friend of ours had a small project in Karachi. He said, come and help me out for a while, so we went. That was in 1989. And when we were there, it was very interesting. We wanted to start some kind of project for deaf children because our son was deaf. He was a teenager at the time. And a friend of ours, he was a Memon businessman, Mr. Abdul Razak. He said, I have a small office space in Sadr I want to give to you. And you can use it for whatever you want. So it was a small, like we had 2 rooms about the size of this stage. And we started a small center. We had literally about 15 or 20 young deaf young people coming, teenagers. They wanted to learn English, wanted to learn how to improve their writing so they could get a job. And this was a picture back in those days. I still look the same, right? Tora patlata, now it's too much tikka parata, you know. That Pakistani food will get you every time. So, so we started this small project, and you know, we had parents coming to us saying, "Oh, hamare bache deaf, kya kare?" I said, "Just bring them over. We'll see what we can do." "Oh, do you have some place for small children?" I said, "Okay, bring them. We'll see what we can do." And we started a small primary class. We had about 7, 8, maybe 10 children. So we would do small children in the morning and the teenagers in the afternoon. This was in Sadr at Regal Cinema Chowk, up on the 5th floor with no lift. And in June, July, walk up and down those stairs. That's why I was so skinny. And you know, we kept getting more and more children, and we needed a bigger place. And then another friend who said, "Oh, I'll get you a place," and one thing led to another. And then eventually we connected with the Sindh government, who gave us an abandoned building in Gulistani Johar, where we've been now for many years. And I'm going to show you a few pictures of that. So this work has grown from these very small beginnings, which were just my wife and I and our deaf son, to where we now have 7 full-time schools in 7 different cities, going from, thank you. And the age of our children starts at 3.5 or 4 years of age, all the way up through high school. See, the government schools in Pakistan only go up to grade 8 for children who are deaf. And even then, the quality of the education is not so great. But the parents really wanted us to keep their kids in school and educate them further. So we took the plunge. We started a college program. And I'm proud to announce that 2 years ago, we were able to start a BA program for higher education, this is one of the first in Pakistan. So from those small beginnings to where we are today, it's been a long road. People ask about our son who was deaf, and he passed away in a tragic accident many years ago. But the work we've done is his legacy, really. And the thousands of children whom we care for, they're our children as well. So I'm going to share a little video someone made for us, which gives you an overview of the schools and the program. And then I'll share a little bit more further about our story. We can turn these floodlights off if you don't mind. The deaf should be viewed not simply as a disability group, but as a distinct cultural group that communicates in its native language, which is sign language. Education is the key to empowerment for this marginalized and underserved community. Established more than 2 decades ago, Deaf Reach schools, training centers, and colleges provide free education and skills development for deaf children, offering them the opportunity of a transformational education and empowering them to achieve gainful employment and an improved quality of life. 7 Deaf Reach campuses located in Karachi, Hyderabad, Nawabshah, Sakkar, Tandwalayar, Lahore, and Jhelum comprise a national deaf school network serving both urban and rural areas. The college and Bachelor of Arts programs provide a pathway for higher education, one of the few in the country available for deaf students. A donated, purpose-built campus with residential facilities in Rashidabad, Sindh, serves as a national center of excellence for both deaf education and teacher training. And all students are given a healthy lunch daily, improving their nutrition and well-being. Daily transport is provided to all students within a 50-kilometer radius. Deaf Reach schools foster a holistic learning approach, providing an enabling environment where students can excel, attaining fluency in 3 languages: sign language, English, and Urdu. In addition to academics, each student receives training in a variety of skills. Technology is used extensively to reinforce learning. Deaf Reach created the first ever Pakistan Sign Language digital resources, available free of cost and providing unprecedented access countrywide to language and literacy skills development for educators, deaf children, and their families. Deaf Reach is invested in teacher development, facilitating high-achieving students to pursue a career in deaf education and positions of leadership. Over 50% of Deaf Reach's teaching staff and management are themselves deaf. Parents and family members are provided transport to attend bi-weekly sign language and literacy classes, enabling them to be active participants in their child's development, as well as to improve their own literacy skills. Working closely with the corporate sector, Deaf Reach delivers a full circle of opportunity for young deaf adults by providing training in marketable skills and facilitating employment. To To date, over 1,000 deaf youth have entered the job market as a result. All deaf children in Pakistan deserve the opportunity to learn to communicate in their native language and to receive an education that will empower them to achieve an improved quality of life. With your support, we can make education a reality for deaf children in Pakistan. This is how you clap in sign language. Do you know that sign language is not universal? Everybody thinks, well, not everybody, but a lot of people think, oh, the whole world signs the same, but every country has its own sign language. And it doesn't even depend on the written or spoken language. There's American Sign Language, British Sign Language, and Australian Sign Language, even though English is the common language. And Pakistan has its own sign language, which is Pakistani Sign Language. But whereas sign languages are documented in these other countries, you can find courses, training, books. In Pakistan, there was nothing. So we took the plunge and we got a grant from a few donors, and we developed the first ever Pakistan Sign Language Dictionary, which is now online, and the whole country is using it. Every school for the deaf now uses that. And it has not just 1,000 or 2,000 words, it has 6,000 words in it. So if you want to learn some sign language, you can just go to psl.org.pk. And then you can learn how to clap in sign language. And that's how you say, I love you. Sorry, do you want to say something? No, I'm not done.
Okay.
You're going to have to get a crane and pull me off.
So
No, I'm not done.
Oh, you're not done?
No, I have more.
Okay, sorry.
Is anybody in a rush? Are we okay?
We're okay.
Fine, I'm going to share some more with you. Did you see that nice, oh, what happened to my media projector? See, everybody thought when I showed the video I'd be finished, but that's actually only halfway. Because I'm the entertainment tonight, at least for this part of the show. I want to just say a word about this beautiful campus in Rashidabad, which is in central Sindh. This was a project of Air Commodore Shabir, who set up a welfare city to address the needs of the poor with schools, hospitals, orphanages. And he wanted to have a school for deaf children, and he approached us. He said, if I build you a school, would you take it and run it? We said, chalo theek hai. Who does that? So on a handshake, we shook hands, and he would call me. He said, Richard, I've designed it. It's on 40,000 square feet. Oh, and then he'd call a few months later. No, it's on 50. Don't know it's on 60. And by the time it was done, it was on 100,000 square feet. And 4 years after our handshake, he said we had a ribbon cutting. Can somebody please check it's warming up. Oh, okay. So, and you saw that in the video, this very large purpose-built campus, which is in central Sindh, and now we have over 250 children there. We pick and drop them from a 50-kilometer radius on a daily basis. We do that in all of our schools, actually, because the kids can't come to school otherwise. They live in these little gowns and very small, very poor areas. And then we bring their parents in on Saturdays so we can teach them sign language and how to communicate with their children. So, replug it in. Okay. Well, anyway, when the picture comes up, and I just want to take a minute to acknowledge Samira Hussain. Samira, where are you? Raise your hand. There she is. Because the school was built in honor of her mother-in-law, Rahana Nazar, and her family donated all the funds necessary to set this school up, which was a project of over $1 million, and they donated about 70% or so of that. So we're very, very grateful. And it's not working. That's fine, I can just keep talking. You noticed on the video there was this employment program. We feel that education is great on its own, but just having an education in Pakistan, even for a mainstream child, is not enough. And think about it, if you're deaf and you come from a poor family and you're a deaf girl, what opportunities are there? So we initiated a job placement program where we would actively go out and connect with the corporate sector and find jobs for these young people. And we've done that in so many different industries, in the textile industry, in the banks, in the hotel industry. And today, even though the video said 1,000, now we've gotten over 1,500 job placements for both boys and girls. KFC restaurants. There's our picture of Rashidabad, by the way. That's the school that Samira's family had funded. And it's so lovely, it's such a center of excellence. And there's residential facilities there for any visitors. So next time you come to Pakistan, you're welcome to stay. As I was mentioning about the job placement program, and we started this with KFC restaurants, and now there's over 200 young people employed by KFC restaurants around the country. And when you walk in, you're the one who's, in a sense, handicapped because the person taking your order only speaks sign language. So we had to make picture menus so that you could better understand what to do, so you could point. And it's been a very successful project. And we hire our graduating students to become teachers in our schools. So it's all about creating not just education, but it's a holistic concept where we're creating self-reliance and building their futures so that they can have their own families and be part of society in a successful way. A lot of people said, what did we do during COVID? For the last 18 months, all of our schools were closed, off and on, mostly off. So all of our students' families were very poor. They suffered a lot. They lost their jobs. Most of them were day workers. So we arranged that for the first 5 months of the pandemic, we donated food packages to all of our students' families on a monthly basis. So that took care of them through the initial crisis. And then we didn't want our students to lose their language skills, because when they're isolated with their families don't communicate and they deteriorate. So we developed a distance learning program where we filmed all the curricular content, and someone donated laptops so that each of our kids could have a laptop, and we delivered this to them on a monthly basis so they stayed current with their educational process. And it was beautiful to see. I mean, look at these couple of pictures. You've got our students sitting in their village, learning on their laptop while their family surrounds them and actually learns also as a ripple effect, In fact, in a lot of the villages, it's our students who are the ones who are literate in their families. So the tables get turned. And these are those digital resources we spoke about, where if you go online, now all the schools around the country are utilizing this, and we're looking to grow this in the coming year. Just take a minute to mention something about two of our students were given the opportunity to attend American School for the Deaf in Connecticut, and they were the first Pakistani deaf students to get a 5-year scholarship, all expenses paid. They're now in their 3rd year. They're doing great, and we're looking forward to, once they graduate, them coming back and having an integral part, being leaders. We're not going to lose them to immigrate to the US. Nothing sensitive about that, but this was an investment in getting them back, So, I mean, this is just a little overview. I'd be more than happy if any of you, I know all of you must come back to Pakistan from one time or another, so please contact us. On that brochure, there's a little email. You can drop us a line, and I'd love to show you around personally. And as a result of all this, I was honored, and President Alvi conferred on me this beautiful Sitara-e Khidmat Award. Thank you. Which I'm very proud to wear as a proud Pakistani, imported quality. Someone was asking about our goals, and it's been a difficult last couple of years with the COVID. Our goal is to retain all our students. We have new students to enroll. I'm proud to say we just opened a school in Lahore and Jhelum. In Lahore, the government gave us an underutilized building. It was in bad shape, but structurally sound. And Syed Babar Ali funded the whole setup and renovation, and it's a state-of-the-art school now. So if any of you come to Lahore, I'd love to show you around there as well. So that brings me to a close, and it's been an honor to share this time with you. I don't know if maybe somebody has a few questions, or
yeah,
we can
some
discuss
of us
anything.
may have some questions, but
Please.
I think Richard wants to say something else also.
You're going to put me on the spot.
Good, try.
He really wanted me to do the Mere munde di Punjaban naal shadi hui.
So
My son is married now to a Punjabi. We're part of the Paracha family. So, thank you. I don't know how my Punjabi was, but kyunki Urdu meri achi nahi hai. But and we're very honored. Our son works with us there, helps on the program, and we have a lovely, not only a lovely daughter-in-law, but now we have a grandchild. So we're truly blessed in that way.
Richard, watch me if I do this correctly or not.
It says thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Richard.
Shukriya. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Richard. So if you can stay here, if anyone has any question, we can pass on the microphone. But there is one very good thing going on this month in our part. And this, what do you say? How is Pakistan doing in cricket? Yes. Richard, we won 3 out of 3.
Yes, that's amazing. I'm so proud.
Yes. We are proud. After a long time, we are getting to see that.
Yeah.
So, as being Pakistani, and almost all of them here are Pakistani, except some of us are also from India. I feel a little bit sorry about Indians, but you know, this is the month of Pakistan.
They beat us too many times.
Yes,
so.
they beat us. So, you know, I have not been to this place, but I very passionately want to go and visit this place, and I request that all of you go this place, because without seeing, you cannot believe what Richard and his lovely wife are doing, you know. So next year we have a program, and hopefully, inshallah, we'll go there.
Wonderful.
This month is also important because this is a month of Rabiul Awwal. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam always used to give. And we have this opportunity in this month. So to continue giving today, tonight, and tomorrow, and for as long as we live, so that we can get back on the day of judgment. If anyone has any questions, otherwise we'll proceed to the next part. We have among us the Consul General of Pakistan and some other distinguished guests. And I would like to ask Murtaza Arai was there so he can talk for 2 minutes. Dr. Murtaza Arai was at this place.